Hello again, here's a quick, hopefully, video on fonts in CSS, how we can change the font family. So we've already looked at this using the font-family attribute. We could set it to whatever we like, but it isn't quite whatever we like. The fonts that we can display on a web page really depend on what computer the user is viewing it on. So just because I've got a certain font on my laptop here doesn't mean that the person looking at my web page will have it on whatever device they're using, on their smartphone or whatever. So if we quickly, I'm going to go to Google quickly and just have a look at Websafe fonts. You can see I've Googled it previously. Websafe fonts. And you will see here, let's just go for this first one. You will see here a list of Websafe fonts. These are basically fonts which you should be okay to use on, and they should be okay in pretty much any browser. Now, every browser has a default font that it can use anyway. So if it can't find your font, it'll display it. Chrome displays it in Times New Roman if it can't find the font you've picked for the page. But if you've spent a while thinking about the design of your page, you want it to appear like that. So it's a bit rubbish if it just ends up displayed in a default font. Now here are some Websafe fonts. Arial Roboto, is that really Websafe? Times New Roman, Times, Courier New, Courier. Okay, so we're getting a whole load of them here. We can use any of them quite safely, but there's not a lot of choice in Websafe fonts. Some of them are quite nice, and actually some of them are just total classics, really. And I'm not a design expert at all, so someone in the D&T department will be able to talk to you about this. One little hint I did pick up, by the way, is using what we call a serif font for headings and a sans serif font for the main text, or vice versa. It's just a little design hint I picked up. I've always remembered it. I should have prepared. I knew I meant to talk about something, but I'm just diving through these videos. Serif and sans serif. Now here we can see, I knew this had examples. Fonts. A serif is just, if I zoom in a little bit. Whoa, or a lot. Get lost. Serif fonts are fonts with these little bits on the letters, these little bits sticking out, little tails and feet and so on letters. Those are serifs. Okay, so a serif font has those little bits. You can see these are all serif fonts. They've all got little bits sticking out. A sans serif font, sans means without, as in the French, sans. So if I go down a little bit further, we can see these ones are nice and clean. They don't have the little feet on them, the little tails and so on. Okay, and in fact, you might be familiar with Comic Sans. It doesn't have little tails and feet and things. Okay, or Comic Sans, as everyone calls it. So never use that, by the way. I'll throw you out a window. Let's zoom out a little bit. So these are all safe fonts, and then we've also got monospace fonts. That just means every letter takes up the same amount of space, same width, whereas these ones, like an I is quite thin, an S you can see is a bit thicker, a bit longer. Okay, so these are standard sort of fonts you can use, but everyone goes, oh, I want to use some fancy unreadable font. By the way, remember, when you're creating a website, you want to go for readability. Rather, when you're designing the website, you want to go for readability. Now, we can't just include any font, but actually, we can use, there are other possibilities here, but we can use something called Google Fonts. If you just Google Fonts, it'll get you to this. Okay, fonts.google.com. Now, this is Google just storing a load of fonts on a web server that anyone can use, basically. Now, there are some that you have to pay if you want to use them, and there are loads that are totally free to use. So when you go to Google Fonts, you can search through the fonts they've got. Some are more interesting than others. I quite like this one with the fancy kind of W there. So you find a font you want, you click on it. Wait, oh, there we go. You don't even need to click on it. You can do it from here. But I had to pause there just to gather my thoughts for a moment, because I was pretty sure things have totally changed since I last looked at this. Anyway, okay, let's click on the font we want. I'm sure there's normally a little plus next to them. And then up here, if we download family, if this doesn't work, I'm just going to have to... I'm going to have to start again. But I don't want to. Good grief. Oh, no. Okay, download family. That's not what I want, is it? I'm losing my mind. Sorry, I keep pausing this because I keep thinking what on earth is going on, and I can't face going and editing this video. So, what I've noticed is I appear to be on a new Google Fonts site. I want to return to the classic site because I know how to use that. I don't know how to use this one. So I'm going to return to the classic site. And this is what I wanted to see. Yeah, I thought I could just jump in and do this. Right. The classic site. Okay. This is easier, surely. Let's find a font we want to use. This one will do. Comic New. Oh no, it won't. Oh, Comic. No thanks. Let's go for Poppins. Sounds good. What we do is we click on the little plus of the font we want to use. We can actually select more than one that we want to have on a page, but just get the ones you want for your page. You'll see it pops up down here. This is like our little basket. We then click on this bar here, and it gives us two pieces of code. Now you can read this properly if you want, but the idea here is it's like our external CSS. This is a link to an external font. So this bit here, we copy that, and in our head section of our HTML, because we don't want it appearing on the actual web page, but in our head section, somewhere not inside anything else, just inside the head element, we're going to just paste that in. I just did Control V there, by the way, but you can do right click and paste if you like. And I'll stick a little thing in here. To help if I type properly. Link to Google Fonts. Okay, so that basically links the page to Google Fonts so we can get our Poppins font. Okay, so don't change that at all. I'll save that. And now the other bit. This is our code for setting the font family. So if I copy that, and now I'm going to go back to my Notepad++, back to my CSS, and I'm going to replace this whole bit. In fact, no, let's not replace it. Let's leave it as Calibri, but I'll set headings to be this Poppins font. Now you might be wondering why there are two things listed there. What that means is it'll make it Poppins, and if it can't get hold of Poppins for whatever reason, maybe the Google server's down, then it's just going to go for the default sans serif font on the user's computer. Don't worry too much about that. Let's save that. Let us launch that in Chrome, and hopefully the heading will be a different font. There it is, Poppins. That's quite nice, actually. Okay, that disastrous little video is all you're getting. I'm not editing it, so have fun. See ya.